is the place for you. No need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences, let love heal all that's broken.
Word. Well, we're here, not the proceeding word, pardon me. It's the Bible book club for tonight. We got to get that straight, get that right. But we're glad to be here with you guys. I'm sorry, we're definitely in that place, in that space where you can all understand what the word of Elohim is saying to us in the time that is necessary for us to put our heads and our hearts together in his divine and holy word. So here we do. We come here every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we talk about it and we look at it and we read the word of Elohim. And that's what we're here for, to get into his word, nothing more, nothing less. So we're ready to get started. We're going to begin to read and put my Bible on the screen for you guys. You guys can see it as well. We're going to share the screen here just a second, put you up here where you need to be at. Bada bing, bada boom, and we are there. Now, as we have that set up for you and prepared to go, I want you to think about a few announcements that we are here every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Bible Book Club. And then we are also going to be on a broadcast similar to this after that, which will be the Mark the Sabbath service for the Darash Kingdom Ministry students and citizens of that Kingdom Post and full-time, full-blown ministry across these continents of the United States, this continent of the USA, this continent of North America, and then the continents of this world. So we hope that you're able to join us whenever you feel free. Remember, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're here for what is known as the proceeding word. You can join us. Make sure you have questions. If you got questions, drop them on us as you get them. We will look forward to answering them and bring you into a place of understanding what the writ, what the word, and what Elohim is trying to say in our lives this day. So again, we welcome you to the proceeding word, hoping that you're ready to get started, because I am. Let's get into the word of Elohim. Father, we thank you for your word, will, purpose, and plan. We ask you to be with, in, through, and toward us for your name's sake, for your praise. To you be glory, to you be honor, to you be dominion, to you be might and power, both now and forever. There is literally none like you in all the earth, and we exalt you for who you are and why you are in our lives, asking you to grace us with a much more important element of wisdom and grace from you than we've ever known before. This we pray in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. We all say and we all pray, Amen. All right, again, we welcome you guys to where we are here. The Bible Book Club is for you. It's for us all to learn of him and understand who he is and why he is in our lives. And we're hoping that you can, in fact, embrace all things that come from him as we look at what the word says. So our beginning here will take us right into the book of Genesis chapter and number 47. We stopped at Genesis chapter number 47, 27 last time around. If you got a comment or a statement, please feel free to make it. You can ask your questions as you get them and they come along. Our moderators prayerfully will be able to catch them. And we will be able to answer your questions and help you see where to get those answers from. And there you go. Let's get into Genesis chapter number 47. Everybody there with us? Let's go. Then Usef told Pharaoh, my father and my brother and their flocks and their herds and all that came out of the land of Canaan. Behold, they are in the land of Goshen. Verse 2, take some of the brethren, 5 men, they presented them unto Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to his brethren, what is your occupation? Verse 4, they said, moreover unto Pharaoh, that they are sojourners in the land, and they were servants, and they have no pasture for their flocks. Verse 5, Pharaoh spake unto Usef, saying, the father and the brethren are come unto you. The land of Egypt is set before you. In the best of the land, take your father, your brethren to dwell in the land of Goshen. Let them dwell. If they know any man of activity among them, then make them rulers over my cattle. Verse 7, Usef spoke and brought his father Jacob, set him before Pharaoh. Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh said unto Jacob, how old art thou? Jacob said unto Pharaoh, the days and the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from Pharaoh. Verse 11, and Usef placed his father and his brethren and gave them a possession in the land. gave them a possession in the land. Okay, there you go. Of Egypt, and the best of the land, and the land of Ramses and of Pharaoh, as he commanded. Verse 12, Usef nourished his father and his brethren, his father's household, with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all that land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. Verse 14, Usef gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they brought. And Usef brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt, the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came to Usef and said, give us bread, for why should we die in your presence? For money fails us. Verse 16, Usef said, give your cattle, and I'll give you for your cattle if money fails. And they brought their cattle unto Usef. Usef gave them bread in the exchange for horses and for the flocks and for the cattle and for the herds and for the asses. He fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. When that year ended, they came unto him the second year and said unto him, we will not hide it from my lord, how that our money is spent. My master also has our herds of cattle. There is nothing left in sight, my lord, but our bodies and our lands. Verse 19, wherefore shall we die before your eyes, both we and our land? So buy us and our land for the bread that we need, and we and our lands will be your servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. Verse 20, Usef brought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, and the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he removed them to the cities, from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other end thereof. Only the land of the priests brought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned to them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion with Pharaoh, which he gave them. Wherefore they sold not their lands. And then Usef said unto the people, behold, I have brought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the increase that you will give a fifth part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own for seed of the field, and for your food, and for them of your households, and for food of your little ones. Verse 25, they said, thou hast saved our lives, man. Woo! You've saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my master, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. Usef made it a law over the land and Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have 5th part, except the land of the priests only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. All right, before we get into verse number 29, anybody have any recaps they might remember from this conversation and reading from Genesis 47:27? Anybody with a thought or a question that came up very quickly? Welcome to everyone who's entered the room late, or not late, just entered the room, pardon me. Anybody have a thought or a question? If you're on broadcast, if you're on the Clubhouse, of course, you know that you can just simply come off microphone and say your name loudly, and our moderators will catch you. If you have a question, type it in on our Facebook channels or YouTube channels, that we might be able to hear you and give you what you need to answer your questions. Anybody with thoughts or questions for a recap of where we've been? Anyone? Okay, so all we did was read what we read last week, and let's just read forward, I guess, at this point. That's what we do in Bible Book Club. But the purpose of Bible Book Club is that when we come together, you have usually thought about what you read last week and maybe had a question or two. And from the question or two, you would be able to then go forward and render what is necessary for what you need to live, learn, and understand better what it is we have been doing, and trying to comprehend beyond just the shallow read, but understand the culture understand some of the dynamics that were involved in that culture, and put us in a position that we might be able to read it, embrace it, and see it for what it does and how it operates practically. So as we go forward, feel free to ask your questions. We look forward to it. Moderators, let me know if you find some. We're going to just continue to read and get through the book, because that's what everybody seems to want to do. Verse 29. So a time drew near that Israel must die. The time drew near that Israel must die. He called his son Useph. He said unto him, if now I have found grace in your sight, put, I pray thee, your hand under my thigh, and deal kindly with me and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray you, I beg you, do not bury me in Egypt. But I will lie with my fathers, and you shall carry me out of Egypt, and you shall bury me in their burying place. And Useph said, I will do as you have said. Verse 31, and he said, swear unto me. And he sware unto him. Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head. All right, let's move on to chapter 48. We've already been here, but let's go back through it. And it came to pass after these things that one told Useph, behold, your father is sick. He took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Now, for some of you who don't know, I want to give you a understanding of these two names. The names of people are very important biblically. And so let's give you the name, the definition of Manasseh. Manasseh, all right, it is causing one to forget. Grandson of Jacob, also the tribe descended from him, and its territories are Manasseh. It comes from the word 5382, which is the word meaning to forget, meaning to neglect, meaning to remit, to remove, to forget, to deprive, to exact. And then you have the word Ephraim, is the word H669, Ephraim, and it's a dual of masculine form. It means double fruit. Ephraim is one of the sons of Useph, also the tribe descended from him, and its territory, Ephraim, are the Ephraimites. Now, the dual masculinity form of 672 is Ephroth. Ephroth means fruitfulness. It is also another, Ephroth is another name for Bethlehem, perhaps for Ephraim, also of an Israelitish woman, Ephrath. All right. You all know Psalms chapter 132, verses 6. So, and another word too, Ephrath comes from the word 6509 in the Hebrew, and 6509 in the Hebrew is the word parah, right? And parah means to bear fruit, literally or figuratively. It also means to bear by bring forth fruit, be or cause to be or cause to make or make fruitful, make to grow, make or cause to be an increase. All right. So Ephraim and Manasseh are significant names that Useph, Zaphanath Paneah, as you called him in the Egyptian tongue, but Useph, which is his name in the Hebrew tongue, and what he began to say, what he began to speak, and what he began to do when he named his son. So let me repeat verse 1. Ready? Verse 1, Genesis chapter 48. All right. Moderators, please keep me posted of what kind of questions we have. Thank you. And it came to pass after these things that one told Useph, behold, your father is sick. He took his two sons, and Manasseh and Ephraim, and one told Jacob and said, behold, your son Useph comes unto you. And Israel strengthened himself. He sat up upon his bed. Verse 3. And Jacob said unto Useph, El Shaddai appeared unto me in the land of Luz, in the land of the Canaans, and he baruched me. That word blessed there is the word again, H1 2:8:8, it is the word barak me. So he baraked me, meaning Elohim kneeled down to me for my benefit. All right. He provided for me abundantly. He gave me indeed. He saluted me. He praised me. He greatly impacted my life. That's what it says. Verse 3. Jacob said to Usef, El Shaddai appeared unto me at Luz. Now, for those of you who don't know what Luz is, you got to remember the story of him. And Luz is the name where two places in Palestine, it's the name of two places in Palestine, probably coming from the 3869 pronunciation of Luz. It is a foreign origin. Some kind of a nut tree, some kind of a hazel tree is also what Luz can mean. But Luz is a land that is a two-part in Canaan, Palestine. And so he says, which is in Canaan, and Palestine was in Canaan as well. Well, this piece is Canaan also has now Palestinians existing in it based on the circumstances over time. However, verse 3 says, Jacob said, son Usef, El Shaddai has appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and he baraked me. And he said unto me, behold, I will make you fruitful. The whole concept of Luz is about fruit. All right. At least an agricultural growth and producing and a growing up. He said unto him, verse 4, I will make thee fruitful and multiply you. I will make you a multitude of people. I will give you this land, Canaan. I'm going to give this land you're in to your seed, who are going to come after you, and they're going to have that for an everlasting possession. So now many of you need to understand these words here are a part of why you have a lot of what's known in our Middle East as a war. And I want y'all to understand that, because people who won't read this origin do not understand the modern day conflict. They think it's the politics that's being propagated, promulgated, but you got to understand it goes back to this. Okay, so let's keep that straight and clear. So verse number 4 goes on to indicate, in verse 4, let's read it again. Verse 4 goes on to say, he says, behold, I'll make you fruitful. Yahweh told Jacob that. I will multiply you. I will make you a multitude of people. I will give this land to your seed after you for an everlasting possession. All right, before I go into verse number 5, I'm going to double back on 4. Montgomery, you have a question off of Facebook, I believe, or YouTube?
Yes, it's from Ab Marie.
Ab Marie, go. Okay, I got it right here. Commenting thought. All right, you're giving a thought. All the Egyptians except the priests became servants of Pharaoh. Usef's brothers were still living from what Usef had given them. Yes, that is a very clear thought, Ab Marie. However, you got to remember the priests, though it appears they're not giving their land to Pharaoh, they work for Pharaoh. So everybody is still servant to Pharaoh. The provisions are that those religious, ceremonial, mystical, whatever the religious divine beliefs are, that area he left untouched. It is a piece of the government. We explained this last week quite well. He is he's giving them land. It's land given by the government of Egypt. So either way, it's still Egypt. He's just not caused the religious people he deems religious and viziers and spiritual advisors to suffer with having to come and beg and ask and grow and plan for food, because their job is to be basically what you would consider in a monastery of sorts. So that land that the priests have is it's government land. It's not like everybody else. And then everybody else's land was sold to Pharaoh, which now makes that government land. All right. So That's a good thought. You can say that. You can make that thought a real one and sort of kind of build concretely from there. Verse 4 again, moving forward. Thank you for your comment, Mara Marie. Everybody, let's look at the Bible. Hi there, Barbara Mosley. Love you. Verse 4 says, and he said unto me, behold, I will make you fruitful, Jacob. I'm going to multiply you, Jacob. I'm going to make you a multiple people, Jacob. I'm going to give you the land to your seed after you, Jacob. It'll be an everlasting possession. Can y'all say everlasting possession for Jacob? Say that. Everlasting possession for Jacob.
Everlasting possession for Jacob.
Y'all got to understand that, because this is going to help you understand quite a few things. And people are politically of anger about a lot of stuff. But if for those of us who believe in the Bible, and we do, the Torah, this is the instruction. People will argue and say, well, who wrote that? Moses wrote that. You don't know that. Well, you know what? Y'all don't know a lot of stuff y'all believe. This is what we do believe. And so in believing that, if you are a part of Christendom or you've ever at some point did, here is what it says. This is the actual textbook we believe in. And here is the words of that edict. Verse 5 goes on to say, and now. Okay, so let me help you with this because I did some talking. I'm going to go back to verse number 2. Matter of fact, I'm going to start the chapter over, but I won't stop until I get to verse 5 so you can get this in continuity and some sense of flow. Verse 1, it came to pass after these things, one told Usef, behold, your father Jacob is sick. So he took his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, and he told his father Jacob and said, behold, your 2 sons, verse 2 says, one person told Jacob and said, behold, your son Usef is coming. Israel sat up on his bed and he strengthened himself. Verse 3, Jacob said unto Usef, son, Yahweh or El Shaddai has appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and he baraked me and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a fruitful or multitude of people, and I will give this land to your seed after you for an everlasting covenant. And now your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto you while you were in the land of Egypt, before I came unto you in Egypt, they are mine. As Reuben and as Simeon, you need to understand, my son Usef, that your sons are mine. They shall be mine. Okay. I'm waiting for questions, but I'll keep going. Verse 6, and thy issue, which thou begatst after them, shall also be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. Verse 7, and as for me, when I came from Padam, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath. And I buried her there in the way of Ephrath. The same to you and I need to understand that that same place, Ephrath, is called Bethlehem. And Israel beheld Usef's sons and said, who are these? Usef said unto his father, they are my sons, whom Elohim hath given me while in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray you, unto me, and I will bless them. Now that word also is the word H1288. If they will come to me, barak before me, I will ultimately and in essence barak them. I will be of benefit to them. All right. So verse number 9 goes on to read, bring them unto me and I will barak them. Verse 10. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he couldn't see, much like his own daddy, Itzhak, if y'all remember. Verse 10. And he brought them near unto him and he kissed them and he embraced them. And Israel said unto Usef, I had not thought to see your face, son. And lo, Elohim have showed me also your seed. And Usef brought them out from between his knees. He bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Usef took them both, Ephraim in his right hand, towards Israel's left hand, and Manasseh he had in his left hand, and he took it toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand, laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand he put upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly. Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Usef and said, Elohim, before whom my father Avram and Yitzhak did walk, and Elohim, which fed me all my life long unto this day. There should be questions. Verse 16, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads. Let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Avram and Yitzhak, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Verse 17, and when Usef saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head and put it on Manasseh's head. And Usef said unto his father, not so, my father. I know you can't see, so let me help you. I know your eyes are dim, so you got the wrong boy under the wrong hand. Verse 18, Usef said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put your right hand upon his head. And his father Israel refused. And he says, I know it, my son. I know it. He also shall become a people, and he shall also be great. But truly, his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. Verse 20. And he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, Elohim make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he said, Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Usef, behold, son, I die. But Elohim shall be with you, and shall bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above your brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Now, I'm going to back you guys up in chapter 48 because there's a lot in here. Hope you guys can prepare for it. Any questions as we go forward?
Wanda. Sam Tanner.
Hold on one second, guys. Okay. Wanda, what's your question?
Sam Tanner is first, sir.
Thank you, Sam Tanner. Thank you, Sam Tanner. What you got?
One of the 13 questions. I'm sorry, no, I'm joking.
Come on.
One of the three questions is this: the son Ephraim. Back at verse 6, but one of the questions is, isn't Ephraim one of the pieces they put in the breastplate when they later
all of them are in the breastplate, beloved.
Okay.
These are all of the stones will be a part of that.
Got you. Okay, that's my one. I would.
Okay, what you got?
Is that for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the other one was back at verse 6. And they issued which thou begottest after them shall be thine. Okay, so
repeat it better. Say it again.
And thy issue which thou begottest after them shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. What am I missing here related to verse 5 with them? With the names of Reuben and Simeon and Manasseh. Am I missing something regarding I don't know if this is still all a part of what I'm talking about with they will be a great multitude, but something's here. I feel like I'm missing.
Start over. You're thinking too much. Start over. Give it to me again. Try it one more time because you went 5 different places. So your question is read verse 6 so you can so it can help you focus your question.
And thy issue which thou begettest after them shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance.
Okay, so the issue that they're talking about here is the matter that there are two. All right, so you have 12 sons. Let's do it this way. All right. So, the first thing you have to understand is this. The sons of Jacob are, in fact, let me give you these names so you guys can get the names. The sons of Jacob are Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Uda, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Useph, and Benjamin. Those are 12 sons. All right. Now, those are the sons of Israel. Now, the issue becomes that when there is a dispensing later on of the inheritance, Useph nor Levi will get an inheritance. So you with me so far? Santana?
I think
okay. So. All right. Follow the order because we got to keep going. It's a live program. So yes, in you have 12 sons. All right. Yes. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Uda, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Useph, and Benjamin. All of them came from the loins of Jacob, who now in this chapter is finally called Israel. Y'all know I'm pausing for a reason, right? So back to the question. All right, so back to your question, Santana. So the 12 children that come from Jacob, now you have 2 of those children, Levi and Useph, who will not get an inheritance. So now you have the inheritance means that 12, there were 12 things, 12 properties handed out, 12 regions handed out. So Manasseh and Ephraim replace Levi and Useph.
I see.
Okay, so the 12 nations of Israel are not the 12 sons of Israel. And here, Jacob is telling them in verse 6, your sons will be my sons. I didn't think I'd ever see you again, and you were not supposed to be gone from me this long. Elohim has seen fit that I would see your face and your offspring, and your sons will be my sons. Basically, he's even prayed to Elohim, make them mine. Y'all get this?
Yes, sir. I see it. Yes.
All right. And so he says, your issue. Now let's look up the word issue, because everybody likes to talk like they know what the issue is. What's the issue? Your moledeth, all right? Your nativity, your birth, your issue, your lineage, your offspring, your begotten sons, which you begot, your issue, your children who you begot shall be thine. Got it? But these boys are mine.
Gotcha.
You sure? Did everybody get that?
Sir.
There should be a whole bunch of questions right there. So what he is saying is, as I live as Jacob, the father, the patriarch, I'm after Avraham and Yitzhak, I am Jacob, I am Israel. Your two boys will be mine. Their offspring will be yours.
That's heavy. Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know. Hey, everybody act like they got that. Hey, y'all be so deep. I'm gonna keep moving. All right, so so he says, verse 6, thy issue, look at verse 6. I'll put it on the screen for you. Thy issue, your begatted, your children, they will be mine. And then whatever they begat, they will be named to you, Usef. You will be remembered by them. But these two boys right now, I have to take them for the prophecy of fulfillment. That's basically what we know from hindsight. You can say you're being subjective. No, we're not. Because the nation of Israel did not incorporate the names of Usef, who was sold into Egypt, and Levi, who did some dastardly stuff that Yahweh punished him for. So the two of the 12, those two sons, Levi and Usef, did not get a heritage. They did not get an inheritance, pardon me, in the land of the promised land 400 years later. Who did?
Never seen that. Thank you.
Right, exactly. Who did was Reuben and Manasseh. And this hand setting, this barocking of these two boys put them both in place to be capable under the hand of Yahweh. That qualified them to accept the inheritance that should have gone to Levi, should have gone to Usef, but because of whatever took place before this moment, those two are no longer qualified, and therefore there is a qualification in Manasseh and in Reuben. Now, there's another question. I want to see if it comes up first before I talk about it, because y'all, if I tell y'all, it won't mean as much. But I want y'all to hear this. All right. Are y'all learning anything?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Santana, thank you for your questions. Who's next in queue?
Okay, Wanda, I have a question, and there are two questions on Facebook.
All right, go, Wanda. What's your question?
So my question is back in verse 3, where it says, and Jacob said unto Usef, El Shaddai appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. Are we seeing that now Jacob is recognizing Elohim as his Elohim?
There you go, Wanda. That's the question. One of the questions I've been waiting to see if anybody would recognize. Do y'all remember we've been reading through this Bible slowly on purpose, and many of you have realized that if you notice Jacob, if you notice in verse 3, his name is Jacob. Let's look at the Bible. In verse 1, it says, someone told Usef his father was sick. Verse 2, someone told Jacob that your son Usef's coming. Verse 3, Jacob said to Usef something. Then it says, behold, I will make him fruitful, multiply the people, everlasting covenant. Now your two sons, Ephraim, which were born unto you in the land of Egypt, before I came unto you in Egypt as Reuben and Simeon, your boy shall be mine. Verse 6, your issue shall be which you begat after them shall be yours, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. And as for me, I came from Padam, Rachel died in Canaan, verse 18, and Israel beheld. Oh, Israel beheld Usef. He's not being called Jacob now. Anybody know that?
I see it now.
So he's not being called Jacob now. Same conversation, same person. We're in the same chapter, same subject matter, same event. Why is this? Because now he's about to bless them. But what we now know in hindsight is that Jacob has now made Elohim his God. And as you look down the passage here, you'll find where he tells him, let me get back up here where I want to be at. Usef. Hold on. I'm doing too much too fast. Verse 3, Jacob and Usef. Verse 4, he said unto him, behold, I will make you fruitful. Now your sons are mine. 7, as for me, I came from Padam. Verse 8, Israel beheld Usef's son, Usef unto his father. They are my sons, whom Elohim have given me in this birthplace. Verse 10, now the eyes of Israel were dim and old. He was aged. Verse 8, Israel said unto Usef, I thought not to see your face. Verse 12, Usef brought them between his knees. Usef took them both. Israel stretched out his hand. Verse 15, and he blessed Usef and said, here it is, verse 15. He said, let me give you 14 so you can get it in context. And Israel stretched out his hand. He laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand he put upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hand skillfully. That word wittingly is skillfully. That is sakal, meaning circumspectly, intelligently, prosperously, prudently, successfully, understandingly, right? Wittingly, right? For Manasseh was the firstborn. He then baruched Usef and said, Elohim. Notice he doesn't say what he said before, the God of Abraham and Isaac. He doesn't say that. He said Elohim, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk. And then he added this part. He said, the Elohim which fed me. So before he could pass on a blessing of Elohim, he has to concede that Elohim is his Elohim.
Yes, okay.
Y'all get that?
Got it.
Wanda?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Anybody else not get that? So if you don't get it, it's because you weren't here when we were reading earlier, and we talked about this emphatically, that Israel did not call Elohim his God for a long time. He always called him the God of his fathers. It's not until here he says, this is my God. This is the God that fed me all my life long until this day. And the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless this lad, these lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into the multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Usaf saw this, that his father laid his hands, he got twisted up in where his hands went. That's what you have. So the father says, verse 19, his father refused and said to him, son, I know who's who, son. I know. So that means that Israel, Jacob, has now embraced who he is in this whole process. Now, many don't pay attention to that because we don't read the Bible with the intention of, understanding the culture, understanding the actual prophecy. We try to grab prophecies out for ourselves. We don't understand the prophecies that affect the foundation for which we stand. Israel is now called, Jacob is now called Israel by the narrator. He did one other time when he blessed him back in that area for that time. When Elohim came to Jacob in Luz, he baruched him. He bowed down to benefit him. But Jacob still wasn't calling him my God. He said, if you be the God of Abraham and Isaac, my fathers, and if you bring me out and bring me back, I'll serve you. He when he went to Laban's house, he wasn't, I mean, he knew his dad loved Yahweh or Elohim, his mom, Yahweh or Elohim, his granddaddy, his grandmom, Sariah and Abraham, but he had not made that his commitment. He'd seen too much junk and garbage with his brothers and what have you. And Esau now want him dead, and he knows something about him is different. The boy, you can tell something different about him. He can't put his finger on it, but then his mom, technically, in the way we put it, made him sort of kind of like look like he was lying, look like he was stealing something. And that's why this verse here in 48 is so important. He says, son, Usef, I didn't make a mistake. The older will serve the younger. If don't nobody know this, I do. And that's why he says, son, I know. I know, son. Yeah, but dad, you got the wrong. I know the protocol. This is purpose. So when he now has this flashback, mind you, if you notice his circumstances, just like his daddy's, he doesn't want to make the same mistake his dad made, though. His dad was also dim. He couldn't see. He had to ask, who is in front of me? Y'all not going to talk to me the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
He's in the same condition his father was in when he has to pass on the blessing. He can't pass on the blessing unless Yahweh is his Elohim.
Wow.
That's so powerful. Wow.
So he can't see. Someone has to tell him who's in front of me. This is your son, Manasseh. This is Ephraim. He said, okay, these boys belong to me now. They're going to be under my name. They're yours, but they're under my name. Your issue of who you begat, them after you, whatever you begat after this and whatever they begat after this, they'll belong to you. But these boys, for purpose of prophecy, they are mine, because I have to lay hands on them in the fact that I lost Levi to inheritance and you because they sold you into Egypt.
Wow.
So the 12 sons, where a lot of people make a mistake, the 12 sons of Israel, the 12 sons of his loins are not the 12 tribes.
Did not get that. Thank you.
Everybody else understanding that out there in visual world? So the 12 sons are, as we read to you, and we want to make sure you get them straight, the 12 sons are Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Uda, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Useph, and Benjamin. But the inheritance that got doled out 435 years later went to Reuben, Simeon, Uda, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin. Useph and Levi were not a part of the inheritance. Now, what made it beautiful when he says, I've given you something greater than your other brethren, both of your sons, there is, for the one loss I had of you, I gained two. Y'all don't gonna talk to me. I don't have time unless y'all want to talk about it. I lost you. Now watch this. Can y'all talk about the father who's a pruner? So he pruned Useph away so he might give him more. So Useph left Jacob and he got pruned away, but now he comes back. Why was he pruned? So Jacob could now claim two more who are fruitful. Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim, and quite frankly, y'all, these are what y'all call the unicorns. So when it says you shall be like a unicorn was a rhinoceros, single horned, and there was a double horn. We'll talk about that as we go along. I don't want to freak y'all out yet. So all this unicorn stuff that y'all got with these unicorns, when we talk about a unicorn, it ain't no horsey with a purple or pink thing on his head and a mane of pink on his back and a white horse with rainbow colored hoofs. A unicorn was of strength. There was a one horn and there was a double horn. Manasseh and Ephraim. So we'll talk more about that as we go along so you can get it better in your systems. Are you guys learning anything here?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So live.
Now, the passage here in verse number 18, he says in verse 18, Usef said unto his father, not so, father, for this is my firstborn. Put your hand on his head. Put your hand on Manasseh's head. That's my firstborn. His father refused and said, son, I know it. I know, my son, I know. He shall also become a people. He shall be great, but truly his younger brother shall be greater. Who knew that better than Israel?
Right. Sure did. Wow.
His seed shall become a multitude of nations, and baraked them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, Elohim make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. Now the word bless is barak again. Ephraim is the word again for what? Fruitfulness. Double, right. Watch this, double fruitfulness. Manasseh is also a name, watch this, for forgetting your trouble, forgetting your problems, coming out of something. The word 5382 is nashal, meaning you will remove, forget, get rid of the depravity. So with this in you, whenever they look at Manasseh, whenever they look at Ephraim, they will know that they have a blessing of double fruitfulness upon them, and they will forget the trouble and the blight that they don't even know they're about to go through, but are about to go through. Just like Usef, for the years he was in Egypt, by having this child, Yahweh made him to forget his pain that his brothers did unto him. So watch the wording. Pay attention. Come on, scholars, look at this. Verse 22, moreover, I have given to thee a portion. Pardon me. Verse 20 is where I want to be. Look at verse 20. Israel baruch them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless. Notice he didn't say be blessed. In thee shall Israel bless, saying, Elohim make you as Ephraim and as Manasseh. So Israel's job will be to make this a decree. We shall be as Ephraim and Manasseh. Now you want to say, I'm highly favored. We're doubly fruitful. And we will forget, Manasseh, we will forget what caused us pain. We will remove it from us, keeping us from moving forward. In you, Israel shall bless Elohim, saying, we shall be like Ephraim, we shall be like Manasseh, because they know what they did to Usef. Usef became doubly favored. Ephraim's got the double fruit. Manasseh helped him to forget. So what this meant was Israel shall bless, proclaim, say, to Elohim, we shall be as you did for Usef with Manasseh and with Ephraim. Oh, y'all didn't catch that? Okay.
That was too deep. Oh, we caught that.
I'll say it again because I want to make sure y'all did. I don't think everybody did, and I don't say that to be negative. I just know how these studies go. So look again. Let's take verse 16. The angel which redeemed me, this is Israel speaking and praying over his sons. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, I need you to bless these lads. Let my name be upon them and be named on them. Did y'all catch verse 16 at all? Anybody got a question about verse 16? Why he says the angel that redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads?
Was that the angel
So,
from
okay, this is Santana.
Daphne?
All right, go ahead, Santana. Go ahead, Santana.
Oh, I was thinking about when he was wrestling with the angel. Is that the angel he's come out?
Okay, that is the angel he's talking about. Good reference. Daphne, what you got?
Amen. She said it, Apostle. Thank you, Santana.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I was hoping for more from both, but here we go. So the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless these lads. What did he ask them to bless them with? This gonna mess your mind up.
Was it this
Say yeah, you got okay. Say your name, Santana. Go ahead.
He wouldn't let the angel go until he blessed him.
Okay, you're close. You're so close. You're about to burn up. Okay. Anybody else? Look, read the passage. Don't think. The passage tells you everything. Look at verse 16. Look at what it says. Come on, everybody read. Look at it. You don't have to make stuff up. Nobody has made anything up, but you don't have to stretch your brain. It's right here in front of you. Verse 16. The angel which redeemed me from all evil. This is Jacob. This is Israel praying. He now has the boys under his hand. He has prayed to the Father. Look at verse 15. Let the writ tell you what he's doing. Look at verse number 14. Let's start at verse 14. All right, let's all take it back over again. Wanda, I heard you. Santana, I heard you. Verse 14. Israel stretched out his hand, laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh, guiding his hand wittingly. Verse 15. He blessed Usef and said, Elohim, before whom my fathers, Avraham and Yitzhak, did walk, the Elohim which fed me all my life long unto this day. So now you see where he has made this clear. Elohim is his God, right? Verse 16, the angel, then he goes on in his prayer and says, the angel which redeemed me from all evil. He's asking him and says, commanding him, basically, bless the lads. And then you can tell us a question, but it's still a command, and let my name be named on them. Why? Because he already told Usef earlier, your sons are mine. They're going to take on my name as if they were your brothers, okay? But anything that they have is going to be under you. This has to happen. Verse 16, the angels which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Avraham and Yitzhak, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. All right, so verse 16 again, we come back to. Let's talk about this. Verse 16. Daphne and Santana have told us that this is the angel. He's so we all can understand that Jacob is Israel is now talking to the angel, because angels are ministering spirits to them that are heirs of salvation. Now, why is he talking to this angel? Basically in this prayer. So we know that it's the angel that blessed him when he was going before he saw his brother Esau. And as Santana said, and Daphne was referencing, he says, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. Please pay attention. Don't go to sleep right yet. I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. What did the angel bless Jacob with? Wanda? Wanda, were you next?
Yes, I thought I knew, but now I'm not sure.
Well, give us your first thought. Come on.
I thought that his name was changed after he wrestled with the angel. He was no longer called Jacob. He was called Israel.
Okay. So what did the angel bless him with?
Daphne.
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay.
I think. Never mind.
Okay. Tamtana, you're next in queue. Go ahead.
I was pretty much going to say what she said
Okay.
in reference to, but the name that he put on him is his name.
Okay.
Right here, what he's saying, like, I'm putting my name on you, Israel.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Okay. Thank you for your ad. Daphne, what's your thought?
Thank you, sir. My thought is he blessed them under the heritage of bringing them back into Israel, because the children were half. They call them half tribe of Manasseh and Ephraim, but the father knew the children went into Egypt, but then is he asking him to just take them directly under the hands of the God of Israel?
Okay, so let's look at it again. Verse 16. Thank y'all for your impartation. Let's look at it now. Verse 16. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads. Let my name be named on them. Well, who put the name on Jacob when the angel met him? What did the angel bless? What did the angel bless Jacob with?
A new name.
Yes.
The heritage.
Yolanda,
go.
He blessed him by saying that his name would no more be called Jacob, but it would be called Israel.
All right. Genesis chapter 32. Everybody, let's go there very quickly so we can have this hit.
okay.
All right. Here's where y'all got to stop fearing what you know, because you're questioning when you've been questioned. All right. I hear you, Apostle Walker. I see what you wrote too, and you're there. So let's go to Genesis chapter 32, everybody. Y'all ready? Come on, join me over there, Genesis 32. People say, this give me a headache. Genesis chapter 32. Come on, let's go. Ready? Genesis chapter 32. Let's read. Look at verse number 9. Well, let's go to verse number 7. Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed. He divided the people that was with him and the flocks and the herds and the camels into 2 bands, and said, if Esau come to one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. Verse 9. Everybody following the story?
Yes, sir, Apostle.
Verse 9. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, O God of my father Isaac, Yahweh which said unto me, return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with you. So you can see Jacob still hasn't really embraced him as his God, though he's being directed by Yahweh to go back to the land of his father, right?
Right.
He's calling God the God of Abraham. He's calling God the God of Isaac. He's not calling him his God. Verse 9, you just read that. Verse 10, reading on. He says to Yahweh, who told him to return to the land of his kindred, verse 10, I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which you have showed unto your servant. For with my staff I passed over Jordan, and now I'm become two bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau. I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children. And you said, I will surely do you good. And you said, you will make my seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. Verse 13, he lodged there that night and took that which came into his hand, a present for Esau, his brother, 200 she-goats, 20 and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 milk camels, and their colts, 40 kine, 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, 10 fowl, and he delivered them into the hand of his servants. Every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, pass over before me, put a space betwixt the droves, and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, when Esau my brother meets you, ask and say to him, whose art thou, whither thou goest, whose art these before thee? Whose are these before thee? And so he commanded the second and the third and all that followed the droves. Verse 19, verse 20. And say ye moreover, behold your servant Jacob is behind us, for he said, I will appease him with the present that goes before me, and after that he can see my face. Peradventure he will accept them of me. Verse 21. So went the present over before him, and himself he lodged, listen, that night in the company. He rose up that night, took his 2 wives, his 2 women servants, 11 sons, passed over the Jordan, passed over the ford Jabbok, and he took them and sent them over the brook. And Jacob was left alone. Verse 24. Let me read 23. And he took them and sent them over the brook, and sent over that which he had. Verse 24. Jacob was left alone. Pay attention. And there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. He said, let me go, for the day breaks. He says, I will not let you go, except you bless me. Verse 27, and he said unto him, what is your name? My name is Jacob. He said, your name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with Elohim and with men, and you have prevailed. Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, your name. He says, wherefore is it that thou ask of my name? And he blessed him there. So when he is talking to his son in chapter 48, put this blessing on his sons in chapter 48, verse 16. I'm putting the scripture back to Genesis 48. See it? Genesis 48, verse number 16. He then says, the angel which redeemed me from all evil. Now y'all know who he's talking about, right?
Yes.
He then says, bless the lads like you bless me. Let my name be named on them. The blessing was in the name Israel.
Israel.
So you know why he does that, right? Watch. Go back up to the same chapter. This is why y'all got to read this stuff slow. Watch. Verse number 5. Let me reread it. Can I read it again for y'all for continuity's sake?
Yes, sir.
Genesis 48:1.
Yes, please.
Genesis 48:1. After these things, that one told Useph, behold, your father is sick. He took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, told Jacob. One told Jacob and said, hey, behold, your son's coming. And Israel strengthened himself. Because as a prince, you have power with Elohim. Y'all gonna catch this eventually. Verse 3. And Jacob said unto Usef, El Shaddai appeared unto me in the land of Uz in Canaan, and he baraked me there, and said unto me, behold, I will make you fruitful and multiply you and make you a multitude of people, and will give this land to your seed after you for an everlasting covenant. Verse 5, here's where you want to listen. Now your son, two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto you in the land of Egypt before I came unto you in Egypt, they're mine. Just like my son Reuben and Simeon are mine, these two boys are going to be mine. You have to trust me, son. Your issue, meaning the people you begat and what they begat after them, they'll be yours and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. And as for me, when I came from Padam, Rachel died. So if you look at what he did, he took custody of those two boys in verses 5 and 6. Do y'all see that?
Yes.
Does everybody else see that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Verse 16 now. Go to verse 14 now. And Israel stretched out his hand, laid it upon Ephraim's head. You know the story. Verse 15, he blessed Usef and said, Elohim, before whom your fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, Elohim, which fed me all the days of my life until this day, the angel which redeemed me from evil, bless the lads. And let my name be named on them, because you put my name on me. Put my name on them now, I pray you too. Does that read different for y'all?
A lot different. It sure does.
So he doesn't just say, let them be in my name. He goes on to say, put them in the name of this blessing originated in. The angel which redeemed me from evil, bless the lads and let my name be named on them and the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac. And let them grow into the multitude in the midst of the earth. All right. Now, people will think this is just no big thing. And the reason they think it's no big thing, because most people still think that the 12 sons are the 12 tribes.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
It's a huge thing. It is such an enormous thing. We think the 12 sons are the 12 tribes.
Wow.
And they're not. Usef is taken away, and Yahweh gives him 2 tribes in light of Usef. That's why Yaakov could say, you have one more than your brethren have, as it relates to legacy.
Oh, okay.
Are y'all understanding that now?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
You're awfully slow with it. Watch. Verse 17. And when Usef saw what was done, you know, he became angry. Look at verse 17. He became somewhat frustrated. He saw what his father had done. He laid his right hand upon Ephraim. It displeased him. And he removed Ephraim's hand he removed his hand from Ephraim's head to put it on Manasseh's head. Verse 18, Usef said unto his son, Father, not so. This is the wrong one. The firstborn is right there. Put your hand on his head. Father refused. Why y'all think he refused? Anybody know? Think he lived this once?
He did.
Amen.
It's a repeat of the birthright.
Exactly.
Think he lived this once?
Yes.
He knew how this goes.
He knew how this is supposed to go.
Can I
Verse 18. Hold that thought. Verse 18. And Usef said, go ahead, Santana.
I'm being eisegetical, I think you say, but I can't assume that maybe the angel told him.
Yeah. Put that thought together and come back at me when I finish reading these passages. I'll let that one resonate. Let that sink in. Verse 18 says, I'll read 17 again. Usef saw that his father put his right hand on the head of Ephraim. It displeased him. He then said, hey, put it on Manasseh's head. Verse 18, the father said, Usef said, not so, my father, the firstborn is here. Verse 19, and his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great, but truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. He then, verse 20, Baruch them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless. Elohim make thee as Ephraim and Manasseh, Israel. And he said, Ephraim before Manasseh. Israel then said to Usef, behold, son, I die. But Elohim shall be with you, and then he's going to bring you back up into the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above your brethren. Which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Now, there's a whole lot there, but I hope y'all guys are seeing that everything that y'all thought y'all read and had just been, going through Sunday school about, you need to know some more about what that means. So you see how, in fact, he gave him a portion above. Now, some of you should be asking, well, what about the Amorite and the sword? What is it? That's what you're going to bring to me next week. I said next week.
Well, you said when my thought together.
Not you. Hold on. I'm talking to somebody else. All right. Moderators, give me a cue real quick so we can go ahead and close this up.
Yolanda is next, sir.
Somebody else is before Yolanda. It was you.
It was me. It was me.
And then me.
We don't know who me is, so you have to say your names, guys. Come on.
I had said my name, Linda.
Relax. Okay, so Lindo said your name. Y'all, all that so y'all understand, just say your names and we'll figure it out. So Lindo, I did remember there was somebody before that. So all right, so Wanda, you said your piece, Lindo, and then we go.
No. I'm sorry, Apostle, because I had a question.
Just give me the cue.
Also, two questions on Facebook. Pastor Yolanda has a question on Facebook because I'm driving now.
All right, so Pastor Yolanda, that was what it is. So Linda will be after that. So Pastor Yolanda is already on platform, but her question is on YouTube.
No, there is a question on YouTube. I'm going to read it, and then I also have a question. So I can give you the question that's on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Facebook.
Okay, so whose question's on Facebook?
Dr. Stewart.
Okay. Dr. Stewart has a question on Facebook.
Her question is, please explain why Manasseh and Ephraim are called half-tribes.
Because of the half-blood. They are called half-tribes because they were born of an Egyptian woman. Flat out. In that discussion. Because they're half-blood. Usef had to marry in Egypt. He married Potiphar's, and so now his children are Israel. Thank God the father's blood is Israel, but that's why they call him half-blood. Okay, great question. Many of y'all, hope that made sense to some of y'all. All right, who's next? Thank you, Pastor Yolanda. Who's next? Was there another question on Facebook or YouTube?
I think that was all on Facebook.
Awesome.
I have a question, so I'm not sure where I am.
Your turn is now. Go ahead. We'll get Lindo after you.
Okay, so yeah, when you were going over Usef, I always knew that he did not get the inheritance and that his sons received it, but I thought it was because they were doubly blessed due to what he had gone through with being sold. But I think I heard you tonight, he was disqualified because he had been sold. Is that accurate?
Well, that's why he didn't get the blessing. because he had to live in Israel. But what Elohim does, if you want to put it in terms which could run through people saying, oh, you're being subjective, is that, all right, if I say this to y'all, I want y'all to think about it before you respond. Matter of fact, you don't even respond today. Just hear this. Y'all gonna think I'm off from the question. I'm not. Just want to bring y'all up to where this thing should be. All right. Now I want y'all to listen. It has to do with Judas. Remember Judas? He betrayed Messiah, right?
Correct.
Okay. And this isn't at you, Pastor Tally. This is just talking, and you're going to represent the people responding. So everybody thinks that Judas went to hell. I'm not of the persuasion that Judas went to hell. Judas fulfilled the will of the Father to bring Messiah to the cross. The sealer for me that I don't believe Judas went to hell, and I believe that there was a process of repentance before he fell down headlong and burst his bowels in the Valley of Akadema. I also believe that Usef was forced into Egypt, though he never served the gods of Egypt. He still served his true and living Elohim. But because he had to be in Egypt and had to be seen as a master in Egypt, he was used for the purpose of bringing Israel and preserving them in Egypt. Now, he doesn't get an inheritance because he's now king of Egypt. And he wouldn't be alive when they ended up going into the promised land anyway. But his seed would take that place. Levi also being disqualified for reasons we will discuss later, which is why he was only given the temple work. That was his inheritance. Yahweh was his inheritance. And so Yahweh is not going to punish a person he's used to promote and propel his plan. So Usef being pushed into Egypt by a necessary plan, as he told them, you thought you thought this was for evil. What you meant for evil, Elohim meant it for good, that I might save you and the whole family alive. Same thing with Judas. What seemed to be done for evil, Elohim meant it for good, that he might save us alive. Y'all see that comparison?
We see it.
Yes.
So when we talk about Usef and getting Manasseh and Ephraim empowered, it is the way to keep Usef in that loop. This ordination process right here, he just went through in Bereishit 48. Is very key. Okay, can y'all still see me and hear me okay?
Yes.
I think I had a power outage.
Just a glitch.
Right. So the issue is Usef didn't intend to be, he just wanted to please his father. Yeshua just wanted to please his father. Are y'all seeing these two similarities?
We see it.
Usef was now sold by his brethren. Yeshua came to his own received him not. Judas sold him for coins. The brothers sold Usef for coins. And they went through hell to be elevated to the kingship, both of them, Usef and Yeshua, that they might save those behind them alive. So you say, well, what's Udas got to do with the question about why, Usef's name isn't named in here? Because he gets a double. Both of his sons make him one. And it fills the void for the servant Yahweh would have to take to utilize in the temple or the tabernacle. And therefore, Usef's sons, Ephraim, double blessing. Manasseh, forget your pain. Israel will always be able to, watch this, in Pesach, forget your pain. In Pesach, you have first fruits. It's a double blessing. This is not just by coincidence. That's a lot for y'all to digest right now. I've been chewing on this for years, so I know that you're gonna be like, what did I just eat? Why it tastes so good? Why I want more of it? Why don't I understand it? Do y'all get Apostle Walker? I'm glad you get it. I see you get it. Good. These feasts and everything that we're connected to are not just by chance. Nobody just sat there and wrote these things out on some parchment and said, let's make this a Bible. This stuff is divinely orchestrated, and we are to follow and search him out in his words to get to the benefits provided in the word. So Ephraim, he says the words are very specific. In Israel, through you, Manasseh and Ephraim, Israel will bless. Israel will proclaim. Double blessing and forgetfulness of their pain at a certain time. Notice he says Israel will bless. He is Israel. Once he's dead, they become Israel. And then they will be sold into bondage right where they are right now. They're going to shift from the celebrity status that they have right now because they are Pharaoh's guys. That there's going to come a Pharaoh who will not remember Usef or Jacob's work or care about it. And those Israelis are growing, multiplied. The more they oppressed them, the more Israel grew. And they now become slaves to Egypt. But when the time of prophecy given to Abraham, 400 years of their slavery are come due, they will come out as Israel, a people, not a person. That's why it was important for Israel to tell, as it were, in spirit, put my name, the name you gave me, bless these boys with it, bless these lads, because this young man did his job. He did his job. Bless these lads, put my name on them. Are y'all getting this?
Yes. That's a heavy chew.
Yes, sir.
Big bite.
Yeah. So just keep that in your head. All right. Who do I have on this deck to talk to next? Miss Lindo. Thank you.
Thanks, Apostle. I actually started to say that I was next, but you did answer both.
What is your question, though? What is your question? Go ahead and give me your question.
One had to do with the 12 tribes, and you clarified that.
What is it, dear heart?
No, I said when you read it, I wanted to ask, is that why they were considered the 12 tribes of Israel? But then you broke down the whole thing earlier on.
Okay, what I'm trying to extract from you, I'm not trying to be funny or smart or anything like that. I'm trying to extract from you what was the actual question. So was the question related to the difference between 12 tribes and 12 sons?
That is correct.
Okay, cool. Now I'm with you. Now I know what you're saying. So everybody got to remember the 12 sons are not the 12 tribes who took property in the promised land.
Right. And the other question, well, it wasn't a question. I had a statement regarding the when he was blessing the two, and I said, here we go with the switch of the birthright. But and then you broke that down as well.
Yeah, it's actually not a switcheroo. It's not a switch of the birthright. It's the prophecy of the birthright.
Correct. Yes, I got that.
And from Rebecca to Israel, who is right, the gatekeeper of that. Everybody thought Esau was being robbed. No.
Correct.
Jacob being put there by Raquel or by Rebecca, who would never go against Itzhak, never ever in a million years. And then to find out that Itzhak blessed Jacob. Apparently, there had to be conversation later on. He understood the way of his error, and they went on. Both of these men, both dim in their latter years, knowing they're about to die, proclaiming the blessings as prescribed by the God of their salvation. Itzhak did it. He messed up at the birth. Raquel, his helpmeet, helped him keep it right so Jacob could get the blessing, Israel. And now Israel is in his old age, realizing that Yahweh was the God looking out for him. He is my God, not just the God of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac. He is the God that's been taking care of me, feeding me. And now I'm going to pass on this blessing of Father Abraham that was put on me onto these lads. I can only do it if these boys are my name. Angels that put my name on me, put that name on these boys, please, that I can confer this blessing to them.
Thank you.
I got to stop there because if I keep talking, y'all going to be all over the place tonight.
Thank you, Apostle. That hits different.
It really does hit different when you start to understand it and see what he's saying and what he's doing. So, and that's not something y'all go around talking about. Oh, the blessing. Just go with the flow. When the conversation comes up, you'll be able to give some sense of answer. Don't try to make a study around it because you just learned about it. And you're going to go open up a room or start a broadcast or start a study and do a Sabbath study on. Just let it marinate in your souls, and you'll see how Elohim, his word, might not come when you want it, but it will be there right on time, in the time it needs to be. All right, who was next in queue, mods?
Daphne.
Go, Daphne.
Apostle, doesn't having a name L signifies something? Israel, Danielle, is
L, the word L. Anytime you see any word that you have, you can take the word Israel. Everybody needs to know that whether it's Yahshua, that references Yahweh's salvation. If it's Elisha, L, it's not, we say Eli, but it's L, strong one. Ishai, husband. Right? Elisha, right? Then you have Elijah, right? El is Yahweh. Got it? So when you see the word El in a name, it's typically referencing the strong one. That's what El means, the strong one. So when we call him the Almighty, El Shaddai, El, the strong and high and lifted up one, El Elyon, El Gabor. Strong is El. El is strong, but it is Elohim. There is none stronger, there's none greater. The attributes that get connected to it by the prefix or the suffixes that go along with that, El is it. And now in Latin language, they make El the. They make it by that language, they use it that way, but in Hebrew it means strong, most strong, all strong. No, nothing stronger than that. El Shaddai, Almighty.
Part 2, Apostle.
Go ahead, Daphne, real quick.
So when he wrestled with the angel and he said, your name should no longer be that, but it should be Israel, is that saying he wrestled with the strong one?
No, he didn't wrestle with God. He wrestled with the angel. The angel, in fact, is what he said in verse number 36, as you read before. I'll take you back there very quickly so y'all can get it.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry for what? What are you sorry for? You're asking questions. Nothing to be sorry about. I want to make sure I can get this stuff out to y'all rightly. Let's go back down to Genesis 32, verse number 27, I want to say. Verse 26, let's go there. So we're in Bereishit 32, 26. And he said, let me go, for the day breaks. And Jacob said, I will not let you go except you bless me. Verse 27. And he said unto him, what is thy name? He said, Jacob. He said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but shall be called Israel. Now, look at the word Israel, people. Okay? The word Israel. And when he says this in verse number 28, I'm gonna shorten your screen, bring back up verse 28. You're gonna focus on it, and then look to the right side of your screen if you're looking online. Pay attention to this. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but it shall be called Israel. So let's dissect that. Jacob means Jacob, right? It means the patriarch, or they said it real quickly here, a heel catcher. That is the Hebrew word H3290, heel catcher, which comes from 6117, ahab, which means to swell up or to use in a denominative form, to seize by the heel, figuratively to circumvent as if by tripping up by the heel, also to restrain, hold back the heel, take by the heel, stay, supplant, utterly. And that word comes from 6119, which is the word also akab, which means from the heel to figuratively from the rear of an army to lie in wait, okay, to by mistake, to do something, to cause something to lie in wait and make mistake for someone's foot, to catch them in a trap. Okay, so now in verse 28, he says, thy name shall be no more called Jacob, but your name now, I'm not going to let you go till you bless me. What is your name? My name is Jacob. He said, no, your name is no longer Jacob. You're no longer a heel grabber. Your name is Israel. Now, the word Israel is the Hebrew word H3478. Yisrael. If you look at the phonetic and you look at the transliteration on the spelling of this, you will say Yisra apostrophe El. That's what that means. Now, the pronunciation on that is Yisrael. So it's never Israel, it's Israel, right? So it comes from the meaning that he will rule as God. Israel is a symbolic name of Jacob, but it is typically of his posterity, Israel. It comes from the Hebrew word 8280, which is Sarah, which means to prevail, meaning to have power as a prince. This also now comes from the second word, Hebrew word 410, which is El, which means to be, as we shorten it from 352, it means strength. It means mighty. It means almighty, God type power, God type strong. And it means to compare to the names in El. So it will be shortened from the 3552, which is Ael, which means from the same tense of 193, properly meaning strength. Hence, anything that is strong, specifically a chief politically, also like a ram for his strength, like a pilaster for his strong support, or like an oak or some other strong tree, a mighty man, a lintel, a oak, a post, a ram, a tree. So this is referencing strength at every L, at every ounce, at every turn. All right. It just means powerful and mighty in strength. So you are a prince unto Elohim, who is mighty and powerful in strength. So when you're looking at him, naming him now no longer Jacob, heel grabber, you are Israel. Again, look at what the word means. He rules as Elohim. Symbolic name of Jacob, typically as of his posterity, i.e., Israel, Prince of God, in God's strength. All right. So does that make sense to you, Daphne? Daphne, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Good. All right. I'm hoping you guys caught that. I did not mean to be 2 hours with this particular teaching tonight or this read tonight, but I hope you guys have learned something and it makes sense to you. Yes, no?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yes.
Okay.
Amen, sir.
All righty. Well, again, remember, make your posts, make your comments. Go back and view some of this and read back on it on Clubhouse if you want to. You can go back and look at this on the YouTube and Facebook when the time should permit you, and glean from it. Ask questions. Feel free to hit us up. Let us know what questions you got. We'll gladly come back and answer them for you. Again, this is one of the ancillary types of programs we have through the Darash Kingdom Ministries. It is called on its own merit, the Bible Book Club. Been doing it for decades, reading the Bible from beginning to end so you understand everything. No one, how many of y'all ever thought you would see Judas connected to Usef?
Never thought that.
Did y'all see that though? Was it difficult to grasp?
Very difficult. We got plenty of questions.
So it was difficult for you to grasp Udas being connected to a storyline of Yeshua.
Yes.
No.
Right. Because Usef, his brothers would represent, let's put it this way, because if one got it, then hundreds of others who will be listening also are going to have a difficult time. Usef, the son of Israel, represents Yeshua, the son of Elohim. Yeshua comes to his own family. They receive him not. Usef went to his own brothers. They receive him not. They all but kill him. Yeshua came to his own, and they did kill him. So they don't kill Yeshua until someone close to Yeshua gives him up. And that was Udas. Usef is protected until the people he's working with for his father's sake give him up. So the children of Israel, the brothers, barring Benjamin, represent in sum total what Udas did to Yeshua. They did to Usef. Both Usef and Yeshua, if I can use this phrase, go through hell after the betrayal. Like literally. Both Yeshua and Usef end up in the right hand of the magistrate in each storyline.
Got it.
Everybody get that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It make more sense now, Santana?
Yes, sir.
Good. So this is why you read Torah first. Because if you don't read Torah first, you never see this and you never make the connection just by reading the story of Yeshua. The story of Yeshua has a history. The story of Yeshua's work, everything he did, has history. You don't know why, you do not know why Yeshua did what he did. You do not know why Judas did what he did. You do not know why the priests did what they did until you read Torah. Now you know what that is coming off of and what that is because of. The New Testament, that means. All right. It's very unpopular amongst modern day Christendom, who just wants to, do what it do and say what it say and sound prophetic and, all that stuff. That is what prophecy looks like. You see it manifest. Usef, he said it. What was done, meaning evil. Usef said this, and Yeshua says this. What was done, meaning for evil. Don't worry about it, my brothers. I forgive you. It was meant so I could save you alive. Look at Yeshua's line with Israel. Please pay attention. I'm going to let y'all go. Yeshua says to the Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. This crucifying of him appears evil. If you don't know Exodus 12, if you don't know the prophecy that Yahweh made in Genesis 22 and Genesis 3:15, if you don't know that, then what it looks like is pure evil. But this was the plan. It had to be done to get him on that cross to fulfill the feast of Pesach, so we could become free from our bondage that Adam sold us into, and all the retro pay that we lost because now we became slave to evil. Yahweh's plan for our good can be given back to us in a double measure. That's where you read Isaiah chapter number 53. The teacher in me is coming out and I got to put him to bed. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night.
Thank you.
Anybody else see that? Father, we thank you for your word, your will, your purpose, and your plan. We do love you today. We ask that you would help us to see, give us the sight, give us your will, give us your way, give us your plan, show us everything that you have for us to know as we want to know you, not to preach, not to be on platforms exalting ourselves, but that we might live. And for anybody who wants to know how to live, what we're learning to live, then we want to be available and ready to render answers to help with the provisions and the fuel for a God, Elohim, rightness lifestyle. The burden, the weight of knowing your word and carrying your word. It's such a touchy thing. We desire to know it for your kingdom's sake, not our own. Help now as we sit in this Bible study to let this marinate, and we can take it into Sabbath with you, where you are the most potentate. We labor to enter in to Shabbat, and we look forward and proclaim Pesach, and even the more as that day approaches. Help us to be prepared. Help us to do right. Help us to be right in you. Help us to retain what we've learned and heard tonight. You, Yahweh, are the only one that can make it make sense. So the information, you know what to do with it once we go to sleep. No one can make me doubt you. No matter how hard they try and how many veneers and garments and theories and philosophies that are thrown, your word is clear. No commentary, no extra coloring needed. No one can make us doubt you. We know too much about you. The world can make us be ashamed of you because we want to be a part of the other cliques, because it seems more profitable. It seems more popular. It seems more engaging and more accepted that we can do it that way. Help us, we pray you. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Well, Zion, it's been a joy sitting and chatting with you guys and reading the Writ. Welcome to, again, the Bible Book Club. We're so glad you found it worthy of your time to be here. I hope we didn't waste any of it. Hope you're looking forward to greater and greater things in him. You're always welcome here. Hope to see you again real soon on the Bible Book Club. Welcome. See you again. Shalom Aleichem.
Truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word itself approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken.